Hello, it's Marty here from Love Inspiration, and welcome to this next lesson. Today we're going to talk a little bit more about this expansive concept of meditation. You'll notice that throughout all of these lessons, we've spoken of meditation in a way that's sitting in a chair or lying down. And these are great ways for a beginner to meditate. We've done pranayama, which helps to prepare the mind and body. And we've done a few little exercises along the way to help you bring yourself into a deeper state of meditation. You'll notice that we did those PC squeezes in the chakra healing, where we did some physical vibrations also with tapping, and this is all helping our mind to prepare for meditation. We've also talked about the energy-based practices, which really help to relax the mind, and we feel they're really, really good for beginners also. In our opinion, they're one of the most easiest ways to meditate, actually. But with this lesson, I want to introduce you to the concept that we don't have to sit or lie down in meditation. Actually, we're spending 24 hours a day with our mind, and this is where the concept of meditation becomes drastically expanded. For many practitioners, they like to, of course, do these sitting meditations and, of course, do these lying down meditations, the energy-based practices, and so on. But it's also very, very important to bring these meditative states into your life. And this is a really crucial concept. There is a guru in the Tibetan Buddhist tradition known as Mapa. This is a long, long time ago, over 1,000 years ago. And one of his teachings really encouraged what he called mixing. And what this effectively means is that you take your meditation practice and you bring it into the world. So a very simple example of this is working with mantras or working with affirmations. When you're working with mantras, it's possible to, if you're walking or if you're cooking or if you're doing any sort of activity by yourself, it's no problem just to do some mantras and just to repeat or recite these mantras as you go about your daily life. Equally so, when you're working with affirmations, many people like to just say an affirmation throughout the day. May all beings be happy. May all beings be happy. And all you need to do is, whenever you think about this, you just say that one affirmation. Maybe you're working with a few affirmations. So in this way, we can see that we're bringing our meditative practices or our meditative tools into the real world. And this is also a benefit. This is also a wonderful benefit. It is said that if you were to meditate for 1 hour a day, formally, sitting in a chair or lying down, you still have 23 hours of outside of meditation time. So if you're doing 1 hour of practice, and you're doing a very good practice, but then you spend all of your day doing with bad intentions, doing wrong actions, and these types of things, the practice is not as fruitful as it could be. Whereas if you are not such a dedicated, formal practitioner, but you're practicing in the real world, then actually you're having many more hours with cultivating good mindsets, being loving and kind to others. So you can see that the idea of mixing our meditation with real life is super important. So this is one very important expansion concept, the idea that meditation can be brought into our life. There are some practitioners from the Buddhist tradition that actually do this type of meditation with mantras, particularly, but also they can do it with mindfulness. There are some practitioners from the Theravada tradition especially that work with mindfulness as they go about their daily life. So one example of this is a walking meditation. So if you were not feeling like sitting, it wasn't working for you, and you wanted to mix up your practice, you could just go for a nice walk in a garden, down the beach, somewhere peaceful. And all you need to do is apply mindfulness. So there are some techniques for this, but a very basic technique is just to observe as you're walking. you just feel your feet, the bottom of your feet, as they come in contact with the earth. This is not a walk that you need to get somewhere. This is walking with mindfulness. So as you do this, and as you bring your mind to focusing on your feet as they touch the ground, is actually not so different from a mindfulness meditation that we did, where you're just observing the breath. It's just in this case, your mind is focused on your feet touching the ground. And just by being aware of this, you can watch your mind as it sways in its thoughts. Be aware and be mindful, not attach. Bring yourself back to your point of concentration, which is your feet. So this is a very simple walking meditation with mindfulness. And again, it helps to bring the idea that meditation doesn't have to be done while sitting in a chair or sitting cross-legged on the floor. Another example that I want to bring into this lesson, because I think it's quite important, is the example of yoga. Yoga is a practice which is mainly a physical practice in the West. It's taught as a physical asana-based practice. But actually yoga is a much deeper practice than just the asana. There is the breathing, there is the meditation, there is the ethical conduct, there's a bunch of different what they call branches of yoga, and asana is just one branch. So actually we talked a little bit about this in chakra healing meditation, where we did the tapping, and we said that this was a good way for our body and our mind to relax in preparation for being aware and being in meditative state. Yoga is not so dissimilar to this. You'll notice in most yoga classes you'll have a relaxation at the end, which is effectively a meditation. And all throughout your class, you'll notice that there is mindfulness throughout this. So the way that I really enjoy the yoga practice for myself is, what I find is by stretching the various parts of my body and by working with breathing throughout my yoga practice, I'm really doing a full meditation during my yoga practice, a full mindfulness meditation, a full breathing meditation. And at the end with the relaxation, you can feel a lot of stillness because your body has had some physical exertion as well. And this is something that's really important. I really want to emphasize this. There is one guru in India, and now he has passed. His name is Osho. He's a very famous guru. And a lot of his meditations are based in this moving meditation idea. And for another example, one of his meditations, literally you stand up and you shake and you vibrate the body for about 10 minutes. You just shake and you shake and you shake. And once you shake and you vibrate the body physically, and you also do some breathing exercises as well. After you do these 2 10-minute exercises, you're naturally quite tired and you've had a lot of oxygen come into the blood. Now you sit and you just relax, and meditate, reflect, whatever you wish. But the point that I'm trying to make here is those physical exercises and the breathing, when combined, really are a great way to help us prepare for meditation. So the idea of moving meditations is not so silly at all. It's a great way to prepare yourself for meditation, especially for beginners. It really helps to wear yourself out physically, so you can just, and the mind just very naturally goes into a state of stillness, which is wonderful. So also, I want to introduce here in this lesson the idea of using sounds for meditation. This is also another nice way to meditate effectively, whilst not being a traditional form of meditation. There is something called the Tibetan singing bowls, and this is just one example of sound being used to help us to really relaxed states of being. It's thought that the bowls themselves, when you strike the bowls, and there's many different things, there's tuning forks, you can use drums, but using the bowls as an example, when you strike the bowl, there is a frequency that is resonating from the bowl. The frequency then it's absorbed into our energy, and what it does is it helps our energy to resonate at that same frequency. Very similar to a tuning fork. When you hit the tuning fork on one side, the two forks don't actually touch, but this fork that you haven't touched also resonates at the same frequency. You can read something about brainwave entrainment on the internet. This is a very similar idea, that when something is resonating at a certain frequency, then I will also resonate at that frequency. This has to do with interconnectedness. So sounds can be a really, really nice way to bring us to a deeper state of meditation. The only thing I will say about the sound healing or sound meditations is that it's normally nicer for someone else to do the playing, so you can just totally absorb and relaxing in the sound. But it doesn't necessarily have to be someone else. You can use a singing bowl, for example, and just strike it, put it on your body and just play it, and you'll feel these soft energies. And this is also a very healing experience. Something else I will say on this is that musical notes, there's many sounds in many different types of ways can be very healing for us. So this is one other important part. And lastly in this lesson, I want to talk a little bit about other things can be very meditative. So what I mean by this is that on my pathway I've met a lot of different people, and I have met a lot of people who enjoy running, or who enjoy painting, or who enjoy playing the piano. Maybe people enjoy dancing, or knitting, or swimming. Whatever it is. It seems that a lot of us connect, or are more easily able to connect when we are doing the things we love. So, for example, I met one person who's an ultramarathon runner, and when he is running these marathons, he is just in this state. It's who he is. It's something that really resonates for him. So in some ways, this is meditation. This is not different. Meditation is something that helps you to really explore your mind, explore your inner being, and to make you feel good. So please do all those things that you love doing, because quite often this is very, very healing, and this is helping you to release a lot of things from your energy system that need to be released. If you're enjoying what you're doing, or you're painting, or you're writing, or you're swimming, or you're dancing, then this is clearly something that you really need to continue doing in your life to bring these wonderful release and bringing in endorphins, all these types of wonderful things. So I hope this helps you to understand that meditation isn't just sitting down and sitting in full meditation with your eyes closed. It can be so much more.